Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the world and the universe to Before and After Thought podcast with your host, Chili, as always, Korean KZK. Remember, welcome all the ladies, all the gentlemen, the world, the universe, creatures, aliens, whatever else might be out there, all to this Before and After Thought podcast within the week. Gonna cover over this past pay per view, over the past weekend, Backlash. And of course, this is going to be a slash because this is also going to be a Raw recap, as they would call it in the WWE, the Raw recap, with Jacob Fontu being on the Backlash recap, and Penta being on this past Monday Night Raw recap. This is a commentary slash reaction with Krazy K. What I think about this past week on Monday Night Raw. And it will be added to the page and story for new subscribers. If you haven't already, be sure to watch, like, follow, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, add me on Snapchat, all the social media. Go ahead, take a picture of it, visualize it, record it, write it down, memorize it. Follow me on the social medias if you haven't already, inviting you to do so. Come on and enjoy the party. You are missing out on a hell of a lot with my Raw videos live last week, my page and story for new and returning subscribers with my Raw prediction added to that, and also some new Backlash and SmackDown gameplay added to my game playlist. Plus, this Before and After That podcast will be added to the rest of the playlist as a Before and After That. So with Korean KZK reflecting on Backlash, plus my Raw, because this is slash Raw commentary slash reaction slash. It will also be added to with the rest of the commentary slash reaction with Korean KZK. There's Raw, SmackDown, WWE Live, NXT. I watched NXT yesterday. Gonna watch some A&W tonight, and reflecting on that, giving you updates, everything you need to know, want to know, and more. I talked about Mother's Day the last time I did my Raw prediction, having dinner with my mother for Mother's Day, getting her a card and one of those tiny fans. She's always complaining about being hot and her favorite candy and tea, and got to spend Mother's Day with my mom. And hope you guys had fun with the rest of your mothers or guardians and had fun as well. Talked about it over the weekend, did my Raw prediction, plus I did my Raw commentary. Shout out to you guys who's followed and in the conversation on Instagram, who either commented or watched or liked or just reacted, added you to the Raw comic video that's on page and story playlist for new and following subscribers. It's also on WWE by Korean KZK Comics. So for my Raw comic on there as well, if you guys want to see it and interested in watch it. So be sure to check it out if you haven't already. Thank you guys who already have. Give some round of applause and a shout out to you guys who's already been with the flow. You already know what's down, what's happening. Telling the rest of y'all who don't know, that's what you're missing out on, a whole bunch and more. Plus, SmackDown's coming up. Be a SmackDown prediction and commentary result added to that playlist of the page and story that you guys might want to watch and see and enjoy as well. So, with that being said, so if you haven't already with the program, you get it and you go, you know what's going on right now. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right into Backlash first, since that happened over the weekend that we was talking about. So with the Backlash, we got Jacob Fontu, all gas, low brakes, Jacob, still our United States champion as a Samoan werewolf, and now as our SmackDown and Raw men's United States champion. Jacob Fontu remains as such on the Raw recap, as I'm celebrating himself. He said he would do as such, and well, I already knew that was going to happen, that he's going to be champ for this end of this year. He's a dominator, moves like a cat, straight than an ox. Just by looking at the man, you can see right through your soul, pop up out of your soul, and make you be like, whoa, how'd that happen? He's a one-of-a-kind man that you can do a dominant move, but he'll pop right back on his feet, shock you, dominate you left and right with Samoan drops, with moving fast as a cat, the top apron, with the strength, the power that he has. Jacob Fontu is here to stay and he does not need the bloodline to help him remain United States champion, as they did get involved. It looks like we got a new bloodline member. We'll see what happens on SmackDown. I don't think that Jacob, he was confused. I think he accepted it just in the moment. He was just as confused as the rest of us. I don't think that Jacob likes this. He already warned him once not to get in his business, so I think that Jacob remain United States champion, like he said on the Raw recap, as he would, but he's not happy with the bloodline getting involved in his business, and he's going to probably confront them on this SmackDown about it. And I think that Damian Priest got enough of Drew McIntyre's with their back and forth since WrestleMania. Probably going to have a street fight or Extreme Rules or ladder match, something more, maybe even a steel cage match between Priest and Drew McIntyre in that once and for all. And also we got the man, Becky Lynch, the heel turn. I see nothing wrong with what the man, Becky Lynch, is doing. She's finally getting what she deserves, which is knowing who she is, knowing what she's about, finally getting the grace that she deserves, the respect she deserves. She's been here for over a decade. She built NXT on her back, got pushed away. She had blood gushing out of her eye with a smile across her face because she has the heart, she has the strength, she has the fight, letting all these new women and rookies, or whichever woman has the most hype at the time, or the most whatever WWE sees in them, getting pushed over when she's doing the same amount of work. Didn't get noticed until she became Becky Two Belts. Then that's when people started to notice Becky Lynch. Then, not only that, but the woman that held NXT went back and won NXT Women's Champion just to get the rumors off of her, just to get the haters off her back, to show that she can do that. And now here she is back and ready and set and all. She really has nothing to prove. Becky Lynch literally had to scratch her way to the top of the mountain. She literally had to scratch her way up to the very top, fingertips and all. There's some people that come in there and they just get everything handed to them, or it wasn't that difficult. Becky Lynch literally had to wait in line when she's doing the same amount of work as these other women. Literally had to wait her turn. When's it going to be my time? I've been here holding the NXT down too, and it was always Charlotte or Sasha Banks match. Where's Becky Lynch? Where's Bayley? They're the four horsewomen too. They're building NXT off their back too. They won NXT Women's Champion, been through hell and back to making history in the WWE as well. Becky Two Belts, first at WrestleMania. I was the only cheerleader on the benches. I think I was the only one in the earth cheering for Becky Lynch. I had to put my neck on the line, and she came out on top because that's what Becky does, a fire and Irish latch kicker who comes out on top because she believed in herself. Wasn't let any boss, any manager step in her way, injured leg and all, and still fought them because she believed in herself. She believed in her heart. She fought, and she has something that's a lot stronger than muscle, than quickness, than looks, and that's the heart. And that is the fight of the Irish lash kicker, Becky Lynch. She is big time Bex. I have no problem with big time Bex. I'm glad I got to see her come around to my hometown and mention it as such, wearing my watch, cheering at the top of my lungs and for all. Finally, Becky Lynch is getting the notice that she deserves. People know who she is. They're chanting for her. They finally know of her. And she's been here doing it for years. You're just now recognizing it. So I understand why Becky Lynch is like, hey, I'm not going to wait in line anymore. I'm not going to get shoved down anymore. This is my time, and I'm going to take it. Because if you don't take it, another woman's going to come in here and either take it from you or push you underneath her. That's what's going to happen if you don't do something now. You're either going to get pushed over by the next new pretty face or the next wow woman, whatever they want to call them, and then shoved away when you've been here too, or people are going to forget you. They're going to forget what you're about. They're going to forget everything that you ever done and kind of just slide that on the rug, like a little bit what Becky was talking about. I understand exactly what she was talking about because that is how it is. You've been here for years, and then they have the new pretty face come in here and take what you've been building for, what you've been doing, what you've been dominating and working literally your fingertips to the bones and all, because NXT was literally nothing, an empty building. before Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Bayley built it. All the workouts, all the trainings, all the tryouts, building that NXT Women's Championship, making it possible to have tag team women's champions available for the women's division, to have an Intercontinental and United States Women's Champion available, to be called superstars and not divas, to have a real championship belt and not a butterfly belt, to have tag team champions not only once but twice. One of the people that built it, which was Becky Lynch. Now you got an Intercontinental Championship belt and a United States Women's Championship belt. And that just happened not too long ago, not even a year ago they were created for the women. So, and then bringing in Laura Bakira, sure, she's a former NXT champion, she's a dominator, and now she's our first ever Intercontinental Women's Champion. But for Becky Lynch, a veteran that's already been here and done it, to work out with her, to train with her, to take her on the ring, to give her the best advices. You can imagine the advice that Becky in working out and training could give Laura Bakira, you know, when you're that rookie walking in with a group of women just staring at you like, oh, here's the new girl, here's the rookie. Like, they're kind of already making their own opinions about you, judging a book by its cover before you even get a chance to say hi. And you got someone like Becky who's already been there, taking you under her wing, which makes you feel better, giving you a pat on the back, giving you the best advice, giving you the training and the strength that you need, whether it's mentally, physically, or mentality, to get the job done. Not only like, oh, well, I can't do without Becky. It's just good to have someone there to help you out and have your back. Someone like Becky who's already been there, who the women are like, oh, we know Becky, we're friends with Becky, we respect her. So taking her, like Laura, onto her ring before Becky left for a while, that gave Laura a push. That gave her the opportunity to show up and show out, and that's what made her Intercontinental Champion. When Becky was gone, then that's what Laura was like, all right, now it's time for me to show what I could do by myself. Become the first ever in WWE history, not only for the women's division, but anybody that's watching around the world that might have been doubting her, anybody that's watching on the universe that might have been questioning her, your questions have been answered around the world. So, any questions that you had about Laura's strength was answered. Any comments you had about her coming in as a rookie, you know, being there without Becky Lynch. She showed up by herself. She's Laura Bakira. She's her own person. She's been whooping ass, winning matches on Raw as her own superstar, as her own character, became first ever Intercontinental Women's Champion all on her own. And she's been defending it and remaining as such with anybody and anything that stepped in her way, showed up and showed out. So she earned her right to be here, and she damn sure is going to get recognized for it. So I, of course, love Becky Lynch because I'm the one that believed in Becky Lynch when no one else did. I saw that she had the heart, and that's stronger than anything else that you could ever have. I love Becky Lynch. I respect Becky Lynch. I'm still a Becky Lynch fan. I was wearing her watch, chanting for her. Never questioned what she was doing, whether she's a heel turn or babyface. She's just locked in that no matter what she does, whether it's a heel turn, babyface, whether it's just her being Becky, you heard her like connecting with the WWE Universe as the old Becky Lynch, because she knows, hey, without them chanting me, without them being for me, I wouldn't have the charisma to know that somebody had my back to push you to your limits, to participate and be able to accomplish the things that you have. And of course, on the other side, then she's like, oh crap, I gotta be a baby, I'm no longer babyface, I gotta be a heel turn. And then she trying to like spits in your face a little bit, like, oh, well, you know what failure is, that's all you know, no accomplishment. But you can hear in Becky Lynch's speech with when she was here in my hometown and with last week that she loves and she cares about the people that's been there for her since day one. People like me who's been Becky Lynch's cheerleader since day one when nobody else was, who got people to recognize her. She respects that. She loves that. And she was good when she was here. She was good to us, showed the love back. It was almost like she wanted us to like feel sorry like on her team. And I get it. I understand it. And then when last week in Louisiana, and then Kentucky, wherever they were, I don't know why I said Louisiana, Kentucky last week. Then she goes and says, well, she's like sticking up for us a little bit. Like, oh, we're in this together. We grew together. But then she's like, oh yeah, I gotta be a heel turn. And let me slash that in a little bit, because I understand it's a storyline. You know, it's a character, but Becky still loves and respects the WWE Universe. She just wants you to see from her point of view. And that's why we all chant Becky Lynch when she comes out. That's why last week, when she kind of turned a little bit, half of her, like you heard half of the WWE Universe still chanting Becky's name. She locked her name in for good. We know who she is. You saw that pop at WrestleMania, let alone Tag Team Women's Champion, to show that she still got that juice. And I love the fact that Lara Bakira walking in and out Intercontinental Women's Champion against the GOATs like Becky Lynch is one of the greatest accomplishments that you can accomplish in the WWE. And with Becky Lynch getting the last laugh, I think that Becky Lynch is definitely going to get a rematch and beat Lara Bakira for the Intercontinental Championship this time around. And then now make the return of Bayley. And we're going to get a little Bayley and Becky Lynch matches. Just like we got all the Sasha Banks and Charlotte matches, now it's time for Becky and Bayley, the last of the horsewomen here in the WWE, to hold it down. So as far as 2-on-2 as singles action and matches, so I think that Lara Bakira walking out Intercontinental Champion, showing the women's locker room what she's made of, not only beating once but twice over a GOAT like Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's Championship belt and for the Intercontinental Women's Championship belt. She's already locked in. She's already showed what she's made of, that she's here to stay. I think it's Becky Lynch's turn to show why she's the GOAT. Take that Intercontinental Women's Championship against Lara, get that lost off her chest, and then tangle up with the returning of Bayley. And it'll be a Bayley and Becky Lynch match. Get excited about those horsewomen that have been here for years, finally getting their shine, finally getting all eyes on them, finally getting the respect that they deserve. So I think that's what it's leading up to. I like Penta on this past Raw recap, holding it down as he defeated Finn Balor and outsmarted the Judgment Day twice in the night on Monday Night Raw, and displaying it on the Raw recap what he's made of. I think it'll lead to Penta, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and the rest of LWO to take on the Judgment Day in a 5-on-5 10-man tag team action, along with whatever he wants to be, Oregano, whatever it will be, Chad Gaberson, one or the other. I mean, Penta defeated Chad. As far as this goes right now, again, just to get that off of his chest for screwing him at Backlash. On the Raw recap, talking about Dominic Mysterio, so you saw him outsmart twice of the Judgment Day, twice. He still got business with them. So I think Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee and the rest of LWO teaming up against the Judgment Day in a 5-on-5 10-man tag team action would make that a clean win and make that even as far as those shenanigans to end it. I think that with CM Punk, maybe him and Seth Rollins can get that last man standing match, since they're all about, who the better man is about them two. And they got such a long history, 11 years built in, just hatreds against each other. I think that would be perfect, a last man stand between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I think that world champion Jey Uso, he's already putting it on the line against Braun Breaker after that attack. I think that with Sami Zayn in the loop would bring Logan Paul, and maybe we'll get a 6-man tag team action. After that's done, once Jey Uso proves why he's world champion against Braun Breaker after the attack, and obviously CM Punk and Seth, they need a last man standing match after 11 years, and maybe Seth can win this one since CM Punk won the last one. And then Sami Zayn just showing, hey, I ain't going to go back on that injury list. We'll bring Logan Paul, we'll have a 6-man match, and that's definitely got to be either maybe at Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is around the corner. Maybe we'll get it around there. I guess we'll have to see what happens. And then also Becky Lynch, maybe she'll get her Intercontinental Women's Championship finally in her possession at the Money in the Bank against Lara, and then her and Bayley can start this new. Now the rest of the horsewomen, we was excited about Sasha Banks and Charlotte a few years ago. Now it's time to get excited about some Becky Lynch and Bayley, part of the horsewomen to tangle up. So that'd be cool to see that. As far as the horsewomen building NXT, where all these wrestlers are coming from now from NXT, so it'll be cool to see that. And of course, Money in the Bank, what better than to pull that 6-man and Women's Intercontinental Champion. And then I think the tag match would be good on Raw. So, what that means then... I think that also... I think that also, as far as that goes, I would cover Backlash. And what I think is going to come at Money in the Bank. I think that as far as Monday Night Raw, that's what's going to happen this coming Monday Night Raw. And you guys can check on my page and my story for my Backlash predictions and Backlash results. And of course, 17-time champ John Cena, the greatest of all time. I've been telling y'all that for years, and now as an official, he is the greatest of all time, sitting on the top of the mountain as our 17-time champ. And of course, the Viper Randy Orton bringing that 2010, 2009 Randy Orton back, going on an RKO rampage to anybody and anything that was moving out there. And I think with me growing up, them being in it for 25 years, seeing John Cena and Randy Orton tangle again, I got to watch that my whole entire life, so it was cool to see that and prove my point why John Cena is the greatest of all time. Only one sitting on top of the mountain, 17-time champ. Proved the haters wrong once again. Proved the doubters wrong once again. That 2009 Randy Orton came out in his hometown, just an RKO rampage. It just shows you the Viper Randy Orton is always on his feet, always on his toes. Never once going to get outsmarted. He is the king of manipulation and mind games, and no one's going to outsmart him no matter how they try to. John Cena been breaking character, reaching out to the W Universe. No, this is it. He even broke character in R-Truth. Talk about little Jimmy's and smiling and being that cheerleader before he attitude adjusted him at the post-show. But he also broke character. He respects R-Truth as much as R-Truth respects him. He also broke character with the W Universe. As much as he tries to say the opposite, wearing the clothes, supporting the city that you're in, and bring character a few times, he loves and supports the W Universe. And I don't think he's going to retire as a heel turn, because that's just not, just not John Cena. And even with him trying to be the heel turn, it just doesn't seem like it's working for him. Like, whether you was a heel turn or not, you would have been that 17-time champ. You didn't need to be a heel turn to do that. And we saw you break character, like wearing their clothing, because you know what city you're in, supporting them, and literally acknowledging what they say and getting emotional. Like, we know you love and support the W Universe. Ain't no way you could work for 25 years in this business, in this company, and not have some love or support for the company or the people that make it all possible. All those speeches that you said, ain't no way you were just saying it. You said it because you felt it. Taking pictures with little kids because you acknowledge it, because that's who you are. You're the man of the company, holding it down as the original Superman. 17-time champ, greatest of all time. But of course, the new Superman, Cody Rhodes, is going to have to dethrone him. And Randy Orton, 15-time champ, maybe it'll happen soon, but as John Cena is walking out that door, retiring, out of his dynasty, left of his dynasty, Randy Orton will still be here throwing it down on SmackDown. The new Superman, Cody Rhodes, will be the one to dethrone John Cena, to be the new Superman in the face of the company, to hold the company down. So John Cena will retire as the greatest of all time, as I've been saying for years. 17-time champ. You can't change that. But the last of your dynasty, Randy Orton will be here to hold it down on SmackDown. And he's here to RKO anybody that disagrees. Cody Rhodes, he's the face and the Superman that's going to be holding this company together and now society. That's all it is to it. That six-man match with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, I think they should do a last-man standing match first. And then Braun Baker's got a world championship belt with Jey Uso after that tag. I think a six-man match involving Logan Paul and Sami Zayn would be cool, and that would be a good match to do at a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank. I think these qualifications for men and women Money in the Bank, we saw Rhea Ripley in the main event return. Mommy's back. Monday Night Mommy showing up and showing out. With her and our women's world champion, Io Sky, in the main event, a tag team action. defeating Roxanne and Julia in a tag team match, and so much that Julia walked out on her partner Roxanne after Raw went off air. Roxanne is now her own character, her own singles now character on Monday Night Raw. Officially, this coming Monday Night Raw, you might see that after Raw went off air that Julia left the team, and on Raw live on Netflix, we got Roxanne, who, I mean, she really doesn't need anybody's help to get the job done. So, and Mommy and Io just got their revenge, and they're obviously getting antsy about that Women's World Championship. I think that Mommy in the Bank sounds pretty good to me. See, I kind of figured that since Julia's out of the picture after Raw went off air, she doesn't want to be a part of that team, as she said in WWE Exclusive. I think that Roxanne is going to get involved in Rhea's match, which is going to allow the Io to come out and help her out in the qualification for the Money in the Bank as it starts this Monday. And it'll allow Io to take on Roxanne for the Women's World Championship at Money in the Bank. I think that Io will walk out Women's World Champion against Roxanne at the Money in the Bank. And I think that Rhea Ripley will become Mommy in the Bank to take that title back, a 3-time Women's World Champion against Io Sky, to get that burden off her chest that she can beat her. Plus, we've never seen her in a ladder match, and Mommy in the Bank sounds good and new and fresh to her game to step up a little bit. Because we had all these matches, and we know Rhea is a dominant superstar, but she hasn't gotten any, luck as far as prizes. You know, at the WrestleMania, she didn't lose, but she also didn't win the title. And she helped Io with this tag team, which was a great tag team, Nightmares of the Sky. That chemistry worked well. I want to see some more of that. That's what we're talking about. You talk about a good tag team, and you got a tag team like that in the women's division, that's a step up. There's not very many tag teams in the women's division, so to see that was fire. That was a hell of a main event. This is what I'm talking about. Monday Night Raw been dominated with these main events. They know what they're doing, and that's why it's the #1 show. And as far as that goes, I think that with Rhea and Io, that's what's going to happen. Roxanne's going to get involved, and Rhea Ripley's match cost her match in a Money in the Bank qualification. You know, get it DQ'd, which is going to allow Io to come out and have Rhea's back, take out Roxanne, and that'll allow Io to walk out as Women's World Champion against Roxanne at Money in the Bank, and then Rhea would get another qualification opportunity. She'll become Mommy in the Bank. She could beat Io to wipe that off of her chest and get her 3-time Women's World Championship. So I think that's what's happening right there. It'd be cool to see Mommy walk in her hometown in October as our Women's World 3-time champ. Because then she's also got, after that, another chance to beat Io if she wants a rematch. Maybe even Extreme Rules. Up it a little bit. And it'd be cool to see Mommy walk in and out of her hometown as Women's World Champion like she did at the Elimination Chamber. Plus, she can get that burn off her chest while she's the most dominant woman on the Raw roster. Defeating Io, not once from the NXT, but twice to make it for that Raw match and walk in her hometown as a 3-time Women's World Champion. Not just putting icing on the cake. So, with that being said, I think that Becky Lynch can become Intercontinental Women's Champion and defeat, wiping that off of her chest as well. Against to show why she is the GOAT around here in the women's division. Against Lara Bakira. Dari Dom, remaining Intercontinental Champion, Penta. I think him, LWO, and Rey Mysterio and Draglio make a great team on Raw in a 10-man tag team action to clear that up for all these shenanigans and clear it up once and for all. And the Intercontinental Championship, I think it needs to happen at Money in the Bank. And then after Money in the Bank, the Women's World Championship will definitely, between Rhea and Io, will build up towards that. I think that's what's, and of course Raw and SmackDown in between, because we are starting the qualifications for the men and women Money in the Bank this Monday, I believe. They said so. That's what I think. My commentary / reaction to Monday Night Raw that will be added along with the other WWE by Cream KZK commentary reaction. This will be added to that playlist that covers my Raw recap this week. You can also check on my page and story for the Raw prediction, the Raw shoutouts, and you can also check out on my Raw WWE comics by Cream KZK for my Raw comic. You can also check out my commentary / reaction by Cream KZK. This is going to be added to that. And you can also check out my Before and Afterthought podcast, because this will also be added to that, because I was reflecting on Backlash. It was a podcast this week as well. Add to that playlist. It'll also be on my page and story for new and returning subscribers. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to watch, like, follow, and subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Add me on Snapchat. Take a photo or video of it to my social media platinum forums. Add me on Snapchat so you don't miss the next hottest video. Like my podcast, I'll be added with the rest of the Before and After thoughts. Like my commentary, I'll be added with the rest. Commentary / reaction with KK. Page and story, Raw predictions, Raw comics available. And there's also some Backlash and SmackDown gameplay, as well as the results of Backlash and SmackDown. So, with that being said, Queen KK out. Peace.